everyone. We are back for another year by no demand whatsoever. The Benchwarmers Podcast on the ACC Sports Entertainment Network. We are a couple of Kiwi basketball fans talking NBA, containing more dribble than the players do on the court, more annoying calls than the ref in the final shot of a Lakers game. I want to talk about that very shortly. And making more wild statements than a Prince Harry autobiography. Which one of us had frozen frostbite on our penis at our brother's wedding? We'll find out at some stage on the podcast. But let's welcome along the team. First person we drafted to do the podcast. He works for our salary cap restrictions. Yeah, we basically pay him nothing because no one gets paid for this. He's free. He's usually available. It's Joe Harrison.
Yeah, it's bloody good to be back. Thanks for having me here today as well. We're looking sharp. We're all in NBA jerseys for the first time as well.
Everyone looks all summery too, don't they? You know, summery guns out, ready to go.
How tan is Joel?
He is, yeah.
Jeepers.
He is looking tan. He's been in Hawaii, yeah.
Good.
Come back very tan, Dan. We're hoping he'd be the literal key to doing the new podcast. I don't know if that's the case, but it's Chris Key back with us again. Nice to have you here, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be back, actually, and first podcast back over that summer break. There is a crap load of basketball on at all times, but over the summer break, you've got time to watch it. And so I am here brimming with b-ball knowledge.
Well, it's hard to know where to start because there's been so much. We've been away for a couple of weeks, and the NBA has been amazing. I mean, players getting 50 points as easy as getting 50 bags of Masterton. You know, like there's been so many 50-point games from players. Joel, you had a list of some of the players that have got 50 points over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, since we finished doing the podcast about a month ago, Devin Booker, Pascal Siakam, Luka Doncic 3 times in the space of a week, Klay Thompson, Donovan Mitchell hit 71, Giannis, Damian Lillard, and this morning Jason Tatum hit 51 points as well.
It is absolutely mind-blowing, but it also makes a lot of sense. The speed of the game now and the not lack of defense, but it's a lot with the jump shooting, three-pointers, people shooting from even deeper. As soon as someone like these classic guys, like as you say, Donovan Mitchell, Pascal Siakam, these guys that can just catch fire, take over. Devin Booker, he's another one that's just, and as you say, Jason Tatum this morning. It's going to continue, and I don't think it's going to be very long before we see the likes of Kobe's 82-point game being just a normal thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd like to see an 82 Cody's game though too. 82 Cody's, some player doing that as well too.
Yeah, sorry, I think I had 82 Cody's over the summer there. Still feeling a bit bleh.
So you reckon, like, so players from say 10, 15 years ago, some of the top players, how do you think they would go in today's, today's game? Do you think that they would be getting, 50 points as regularly as today?
Absolutely. I put Michael Jordan in today's game. He's a hummu. He's not passing the ball. Neither's Kobe. Those guys are going to drop 50-point games. I reckon they'd drop 10, 15 of them a season, because back then there was so much more isolation ball and stuff. You could go one-on-one and it wasn't as frowned upon, and they were so talented. And also the defense is a lot softer now. So someone who's used to being, not bumping uglies, but a lot of rough and tumble down there in the paint, all of a sudden it's a bit easier, I think. So absolutely they could.
Something else I thought was pretty cool over the last week, largest NBA crowd in an in-season game, Spurs-Warriors, just under 70,000 people, which I think is our weekly podcast numbers, which is great, as well, So, no, I don't think it's, we're far off that. But yeah, pretty awesome. But although I was seeing some footage online, if you're at the back, even with the screens and stuff, very hard to see what's going on.
And like a finals game at Staples Center, do you know what, the Crypto.com arena now, like what would the capacity for that be? Would it be 40, 50,000?
I don't think it's as big as some of obviously the football stadiums and stuff that they play in NBA-wise. Chris Key's on the Google pretty quickly.
Just going to smoothly pretend like I know it off by heart. Well, you're looking at about 20,000.
20,000, wow.
So it's not very large at all.
Wow, yeah, because I reckon some of those finals games, if they had the capacity of about 100,000, they probably could sell them out with ease.
Sorry, yeah, so how much was it? 70-something thousand?
70,000, yeah. Or 68.5, I think it was, yeah.
Okay, so Madison Square Garden has just under 21,000 capacity. So more than three times packed out Madison Square Garden.
It was huge, yeah, they were building. It was like a pretty much full-on stadium. It was probably the same as Eden Park. A full Eden Park during that Rugby World Cup would probably not even be that.
Oh, look, it wouldn't be that electric in terms of atmosphere, mate.
Oh, no way.
You went, All Blacks, All Blacks.
A lot of middle-aged people in All Blacks gear going, sit down, shut up.
Folding their arms, waiting for the All Blacks to score a little bit. You're good, yep, you're good.
Yes, Dad, I am talking about you.
All right, well, let's rip into it. Plenty to talk about, so let's look at the starting five.
This is the starting five for the Benchwarmers.
Y'all ready for this? Okay, let's rip into the starting five, and the first on the agenda right now, we're just over halfway in the words of Bon Jovi. Well, we're halfway there as far as the season goes, and so let's have a wee look at the teams I think are doing great and the teams are doing not so great. Joel, do you have a standout team? Do you have a team that you would like to put some money on to take out the title? You think halfway through the season?
It pains me to say them. I don't really like them that much. But the Celtics, they're looking like it is their comp to lose at the moment. I reckon they have Tatum, I think he should win the MVP this year. I reckon, like in terms of performance with the team and just how well the team is going. They're 33-12 at the moment. They're like well ahead of the East and ahead of all the teams of the West. So I think Celtics, it's their ring to lose this year.
It kind of feels like also there's probably a couple of teams that have got sort of the young stars like Jar at the Grizzlies or Luka for the Mavs that, is this going to be the year that they suddenly step up and sort of...
Zion for the Pels.
Yeah, exactly. Pels have been amazing as well. So, do you think those teams will sort of come through, or are we going to go back to going, oh, here come the Golden State Warriors again?
Well, this is the thing I've had to come to grips with this season is I think the days of the likes of your Anthony Davises, your LeBron James, your Kevin Durant's, while they still show signs of being top athletes, the injuries, man, that is the difference between them and this new generation of stars coming through. They're fresher. They don't get injured as often. Paul George has been out so friggin' like all these Chris Paul, he's old, like he's 38 or something, and while he's a point guard, he's been out a lot this season as well. Whereas you got I think that sort of generation of player, Steph Curry's been out a lot, so the Warriors might be able to get it done one more time, not this season. But I think those guys are all pretty much done, and they're going to need help from the Luka Doncic's of the world and the Jason Tatums of the world to try and be a regular competitor. I think it is going to be Celtics, Pels, as long as the Pels can be healthy with Zion. Even Valanciunas, CJ McCollum, they've got such a sweet lineup.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram, who's been out a long time as well. He's a bit of a veteran.
That's probably the thing. I mean, you need obviously a good lineup to it. Look at me like I feel like I'm Popovich here talking here. I know nothing about basketball, but I'll say it anyway. It feels like you need a good squad and you need a good lineup, but you also need a bit of luck on the injury front. Because that's the thing. I mean, even the Nets have been awesome, and then KD gets injured.
That's right.
It just takes one injury. I mean, what happens to the Mavs if Luka's out? I mean, they're pretty much, who have they got?
No one. They've got
Christian Wood is playing great at the moment.
He's good, and Hardaway can chip him with some points, and Dinwiddie,
the problem with those guys is, so you look at a team like the Celtics, the likes of your Dinwiddies and your Hardaways and all those kind of guys.
Just clarification, there's only one of those, though. You're saying like it's plural, but
sorry. The likes of Dinwiddie, Hardaway, they're the kind of guys that the Celtics have coming off the bench for them playing 18 minutes a game. Yeah. Whereas, Mavs and Luka and that, they're leaning on these guys to play 30, 35 minutes a game. That's where they're falling over. The Celts, when they roll out a full line out of, Tatum. They've got Brogdon, who's an epic player, and he's only playing 20 minutes a game. Yeah. You've got Horford, who's just a great defensive center. Robert Williams. They've got Jaylen Brown as well. Those are your starting guys, and then you've got the likes of Mavericks level starters coming off the bench. So that's the difference between the teams, And I don't think for Luka it's going to happen anytime unless they really shake things up.
Yeah, I was watching I think that the Mavs, they went on about a 3-week winning streak. They didn't lose, and they played the Celtics, and the Celtics just owned them. They shut them down the whole game. He scored about 23 points, and he'd been tearing up against all the small teams and stuff, but they look pretty world-class at the moment, the Celtics.
They do, and that's the thing is when you've got the likes of Brown, Tatum, Marcus Smart, forgot about him, literally one of the greatest point guard defenders in the league at the moment. You've got him locking up point guard. You've got Al Horford and Robert Williams patrolling the paint. And you've got Tatum and Brown, whose job it is just to make it rain points. That is a really well set up team. Whereas the Mavs, you've got Luka, who has to score a 60-point triple-double with 20 rebounds to eke out like a 1-point win, So, that's the difference, I think.
Who needs the most help, do you reckon? Obviously, Mavs, you talked about
Luka,
adding someone else. I mean, even the Nuggets, have they got enough? I mean...
They're looking good at the moment as well. I watched one of the games against the Clippers. They blew them out of the water.
Very injured Clippers.
It wasn't very injured Clippers, but, Paul George and Cole Leonard were both still playing. They were just useless.
Oh, were they? Oh, yeah. No, but, harbouring injuries.
Yeah. Jokic, he doesn't even have to do that much at the moment. He did hit an awesome fadeaway 3-game winner yesterday, I saw. But, Aaron Gordon is playing out of his skin at the moment as well.
Playing the best season of his career.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon,
Yeah, he's normally just a highlight dunk player, but he's playing awesome. And, Porter Jr. and stuff are all coming in.
So the thing with I would say the Nuggets are going to be up there in terms of the final taking on the Celtics, as long as guys like Porter Jr., who is made of glass, even Jamal Murray, who is looking decent, still not quite himself. If they can get all those guys back to full strength, then absolutely. That's why I'm just not as confident on the Nuggets to go all the way.
Right. Well, the next thing we want to get into, and I'll try not to bang on about this for too long, but went to the States for a couple of weeks, family holiday, saw some family for Christmas, but went to some NBA games. And that's something that you don't get to do every day. And we talk about it all the time. We watch it on the TV, and it's a pretty amazing experience. You feel very lucky to go along and see a game. And they love it. They love the hype. And you just get caught up in the hype from the big screen, from the announcers, from everything that's going on, and the anthem. I got some audio. I just recorded the anthem, and it feels like you're at American Idol, and someone's coming out, and they're like, "What song are you going to sing?" And they're like, "Star Spangled Banner," and you're like, "Ooh, tough song." But they nail it. They nail it every time, and the crowd, they go along with it. Have a listen. And everyone's like, woo! It gets those bits. It's just incredible as well. Everyone's got their, hats off and their hands up, and, everyone's looking up the screen. It was pretty cool, actually. Went to the Chase Center, saw the Golden State Warriors.
Awesome.
And their brand new venue, which was cool. And no Steph, which was a bit of a shame, but he was sidelined. He was like the hype man, so you could see him on the screen.
You just want to see him, right?
Yeah, so
I just want to see Steph in real life.
He was there as well. Klay Thompson was awesome. He was draining threes, Draymond Green, and then LaMelo Ball was playing against them, which was pretty cool. So it was a pretty cool experience. But I did something. I decided before going over, a big fan, like you guys are, of the New Zealand Warriors, the league team. So I was like, hey, I'll go over, I'll wear my New Zealand Warriors top and my beanie to a Golden State Warriors game. I thought that'd be a funny thing to do. I'll do it for Instagram. Went along with my wife. It was just me and her that went to the game, and she was very confused. So I recorded her reaction. She was like, why have you done this? Why are you doing this? This is her response. What's your issue?
Why have you brought your New Zealand Warriors top and beanie to a game of basketball in the States?
Well, because it's the Warriors, so I thought I'd support the Warriors.
It's the Golden State Warriors.
I know, but I bought it basically for Instagram and to confuse some American sports fans. So let's go Warriors.
You're an extra.
Is it embarrassing?
It's so embarrassing. It's the wrong colours.
You don't even know anyone here and you're embarrassed.
I know, right?
Did she call you an extra?
Did anyone recognise the New Zealand Warriors jersey over
A few
there?
people are confused with the sort of, the system. You see a few remarks as well. But I thought it was a nice thing to do.
That's a great idea. I'm massively 100% behind that idea. Did the Warriors lose that game, by the way?
No, they actually won, too. So they won. They beat the Hornets, who haven't been playing that well. But it was awesome, actually. So it was a really, really cool experience.
That is awesome. The Hornets, especially, LaMelo Ball, so fun to watch. You got to watch Big Mason Plumlee put up 5 and 5 in the middle there for the Hornets too.
Yeah.
It's something to check off the bucket list. But I understand you also got to go and see, in my opinion, the greatest man who ever touched a basketball play live.
Yeah, LeBron James, is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
And that's just, for me, this is a bucket list thing. This is something that I've always wanted to do in my life, is see LeBron play basketball. Been a fan, like just supporting the teams that he plays for a while, and unashamedly, I'm just a big fan. But all through the week, he was out for like a flu related, and then he's got his ankle thing, and so all through the day it was like questionable, and I was like, and I'm following this. I'm like, I'm going to go along. I'm going to travel all this way, and he's not going to play, and I'm going to be very upset. But he was there. He played awesome. The Lakers won. I had a few tears. The kids are like looking at me because my kids, and they're like, what's wrong with Dad? Like, why is he all welled up? Because got to see LeBron play, which was pretty cool. So,
it is pretty cool. I mean, because he's 37,
38.
Just in 38, yeah.
So, and he has vowed to, and to be honest, as you said, he's still putting up big numbers and performing well. So I do think he'll be playing for another 3 or 4 years at least. Yeah. But it is something that, people that are in their students now that have just become, interns, for example, like Joel, who's got no money and relies on his girlfriend's family to take him on vacation. You might not have enough money to go see LeBron play. So it's a big deal.
And especially going all the way there. And it still would have been amazing to see the Lakers play, as well. Lakers play the Hawks, because
see Thomas Bryant and Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah. Is it the Bryant? They've got the jerseys already saved up on the wall. Is it Thomas Bryant? Or is there another Bryant?
No, I think that's his nephew.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's his nephew, Tom.
Yeah, but it was incredible to go see. And the next day I looked online and it was like comedian enjoys Lakers with daughter, and I was like, oh wow,
was Di Henwood there?
Yeah, no, it was Adam Sandler.
Was it?
Yeah, but that was cool as well. Even seeing, when they pop up on the big screen, there's Adam Sandler, there's like Anthony Kiedis and Flea from the Chili Peppers, like Scottie Pippen.
Did they come round to you at all or no?
No, my seats were just a little further back than theirs, but that was pretty,
They didn't have wannabe up on the screen. What the heck?
Yeah, no, they didn't. Tell you one of the most stressful things, because I took the kids along as well, and they've got a store over there, and I think it's called the Walkout Store or something. And you basically, I think I've talked about this briefly before, but you swipe your credit card to go in, and then whatever you grab, you just walk out with.
Wow.
And so they've got like 50,000 cameras pretty much on the roof, and but then with the kids, you're like, don't pick up anything unless you want it. Don't pick up anything because we're going to get charged for this whole experience. They're like, oh, I'll get these Nerds lollies. Oh, I'll get these bloody M&Ms. You're like, the kids put it down. So and I don't know how the technology really works, but you just walk on out. Once you've swiped your credit card to go in, grab your stuff, grab your overpriced Bud Light or whatever you want to grab, and walk out the thing, and then they charge you.
See, that is brilliant, because there's one thing that does ruin even going to gigs or anything at Eden Park or anywhere in New Zealand, really, is having to queue up for beers and that. It takes way too long.
Yeah.
So you just walk in, you grab your stuff out. Was it just free flowing? Was it good?
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was like a little mini grocery store sort of set up. You just grab it and away you go.
That's amazing.
But also scary doing that with kids as well.
Oh, massively. It's scary doing it with me. Like, there's like PayWave has made me spend about 3 times as much money these days. So I think I should stay away from the Staples.
There's something else that you brought up a couple of weeks ago, Producer Joel, and I've seen a bit of noise, a bit of chat around this going into All-Star, the All-Star game a couple of weeks away. But if you put together a world team, like Team World versus Team USA instead of the All-Star lineup, who would win, and would that be a better game?
I reckon at the moment the world team would take them any day of the week. Some of the world players at the moment are playing so good. You got Luka, Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, SGA. You got Sabonis, who's killing it at the moment as well.
Bonds, yeah.
Laurie Markkinen. So many great players in that team. Porzingis, Gobert.
Yeah, there's
Murray.
when you look at the players as well.
Off the top of my head, Steven Adams.
The
The Aussies as well. Kyrie Irving, he's an Australian. You can almost count him.
He could do as well. Yeah, I mean, there's still an amazing lineup for the USA team.
Massively.
LeBron, Durant, Curry, Kyrie, Tatum, Booker. But it would be an awesome game. And maybe you get almost that Origin feel to it.
Oh, and they do the Rising Stars, the rookies, Team World versus Team, and I think it's not just rookies, but also people. Is it sophomores?
Sophomores, yeah.
And that's exciting as well. But I think you lost me, Joel, when you said Steven Adams there. If he's making up the numbers, it's like, what?
We're going to get into Steven Adams soon.
Hey, you hold the.
I love
you
Steven
be careful
Adams.
what you say about Steve Adams.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of the podcast as well. New Zealand's #1 podcast.
Oh, he
Basketball
massively
podcast.
is. But I'm saying, if Steven Adams is trying to lock up, like, I don't know, Anthony Davis or, and he's starting over Joel Embiid, well, he'd be on the bench, wouldn't he?
Well, I did name him about 15th out of the team. So
yeah, well, he still would be eligible to be in that world squad, and he's one of the top players in the NBA. So yeah.
The whole All-Star voting system is it seems like it's a little bit flawed though, because out of the top, they reveal the top 10 like guards and frontmen from each division, and there was like a lot of the highest team, and there was the Warriors. So clearly the Warriors still have a lot of fans.
Lakers as well. LeBron will have a lot of sway.
Well, even you say
LeBron was the #1 voted.
Looney's in the top 10 as well from the fan.
Kevon Looney.
Yeah. And
What?
Austin Reeves.
Andrew Wiggins was
Derrick
ahead of
Rose is
Devin
still in
Booker.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, Derrick Rose has been a great player, but he's he's not even starting for the Knicks.
No, he's
right
barely
now.
playing.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the problem with you get fans to come up with these things. That's how boats get named Bodie McBoatface, or David Seymour makes it through on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, when you put the fans in charge of something, you're like, there's always going to be problems. So so maybe the world versus USA is something that's got to happen as well.
We could put a proposal in next year for the All-Star game.
We're going to do it?
We could do it.
Well, the Benchwarmers could commentate it.
Yeah.
We could commentate it. Maybe New Zealand, maybe not the US one.
But hey, America, push the yellow button. Get us live from the Export Beer
imagine
Garden
people
studio.
complaining about that. They complain enough about the ACC commentary, let alone having us on there.
Exactly. You'd have Joel Harrison coming in and calling people, what was it, Don Kick or whatever you just said before? Lillard rather than Lillard.
Now, Steve Adams, we did mention him just briefly. You wanted to give him some love, a bit of appreciation to the season he's been having.
I've been on Twitter quite a bit over the summer holidays, and I feel like Steven Adams, he's finally getting all the love that he deserves, because he's a player, since he doesn't score many points, he doesn't really get that much appreciation and stuff, and he's sort of been thrown around in that OKC team, the Pelicans team, and now he's found himself on the Grizzlies team, who I reckon they could genuinely be a chance in the West, dependent on whether their players stay healthy.
Yes.
To something I do like about them too, they always come out quite hyped too, don't they? They always. But is he part of that? I don't feel like everyone's part of that. It feels like they've got their little dance squad.
Because you got
out
Jar,
with, right?
Jar and like Desmond Bain, who a lot of people you either love them or you hate them. Like they come off very cocky. They're scoring points. They're dunking on anyone and everyone. And Yeah, but I reckon Steven Adams, like he's the man behind the scenes. I was seeing massive raps about him on Twitter and stuff, and his it's the best season of his career to date in his first 38 games. He's scoring, he's averaging more points. He's averaging about 15 rebounds a game. There was one game he got 23 rebounds. He's like the number one offensive rebounder in the whole competition, and like he's ranked among centers in the top 5 at the moment, and where it's probably like the most contested position in the league.
You kind of need someone. Every team kind of needs that sort of player or a couple of players that just do all those sort of the hard yard. The Dennis Rodman, maybe not the partying in Vegas for 3 days or whatever mid playoffs, but someone who's just gonna doesn't care about putting out numbers. Really,
it's someone who has their priorities straight. Ja, as you say, Desmond Bain, those guys get buckets.
Yeah.
Even Jaren Jackson, who plays power forward and can sort of defend the paint a wee bit as well. Let him space the floor, shoot. Steven Adams, he's going to get you 7 points. He's going to shoot you 33% from the free throw line, but he will lock up the paint. He will put some pressure on. He'll get 4 steals a game, and he'll provide and he does the same thing as Al Horford for the Celtics. He's not worried about scoring.
Yeah.
He's worried about making it very tough to score under the basket.
Yeah, this is the key stat I was looking for before. Sorry, guys. 2023's had a massive year so far. 9.6 points averaged.
9.6.
9.6 points average.
Out, single double.
15.4 rebounds, 6 of those being offensive rebounds. About 3 assists, 1.5 blocks, 1 steal. And only 2 other players in the last decade have averaged those numbers across a 5-game span, who are Vucevic and Andre Drummond.
It's pretty cool and amazing that he's come from New Zealand as well, which we haven't had too many players that have done that, and who knows how many more. So it's pretty incredible.
The other thing with Adams, as you touched on there, his offensive rebounding. Ever since he's been in the league, he's always been really good at pissing the other team off, elbowing his way in and getting those offensive rebounds. He's really good at swiping away steals as well. And I think that block rate, 1.4 blocks, that's higher than normal for him. He doesn't usually block that many shots. He puts pressure on. But for him to actually have upped his block rate, I'm very impressed by that.
Before we head into finding out how we're going in our fantasy league, producer Adam, you want to bring in a Ja Morant tweet, which you think has been the coldest tweet of the year.
Yeah, well, he has been the king of almost having the best poster of the year. About 3 or 4 decent attempts this year so far, and he finally got one. He got one over Jalen Smith, and it's pretty safe to say that the commentators were pretty fizzed about this, eh?
Connell, pick and roll, Morant. Oh, my word! Holy cow!
I love it.
Far out.
Yeah.
And they've been incredible. You're right. Even the highlights of him almost making a bucket are incredible.
Yeah, but the best part is after that, after it's gone viral, he tweets out, "Jump with me if you want to go viral." That's that's the confidence that you're talking about there, Joel, and he's really living by that, eh?
He's done it twice to Portal, I think it's Poetl.
Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl for the Spurs.
Yeah, he did it twice, almost exact, picture perfect, exactly the same in the space of 6 months. Just destroyed him.
But the problem with this and saying jump with me if you want to go viral is this is what's stopping people like Jakob Poeltl, who's a really good defensive centre. He's still going to jump. He doesn't care because he has to try and put pressure on. There's people ducking out the way, you know what I mean? When Ja Morant, who's a really good dunker, but he's also not massive. If you're 7 foot, you should jump, but you're also probably really Gumby and can't quite get your hands up in time, and you're going to be on a poster. But I like the effort there from Jakob Poeltl.
Is it a shame that he's not going to be in the dunk competition? Like
Poeltl? Like getting dunked on every time.
Yes, maybe that's it. They just bring him out. But no, you're like, come on out. Well, but Ja, obviously one of the best dunkers that plays in the NBA, but it doesn't seem like anymore that the top class of players do that.
It's gone cheap. So what they accidentally did, the dunk contest, I don't think people care anymore because ever since Aaron Gordon lost that one a few years ago when the Magic mascot was spinning around.
That's right. That was incredible, yeah.
It was the best one. Zach LaVine ended up winning it. What they accidentally have done is all the judges put up 10 for dunks that aren't 10s.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden they've got 50 and they've already awarded a 50 and someone does like a clear 60, but they can only put up 50. And so it's killed a bit of the buzz of the dunk competition, I think.
There's a guy from the G League in it this year for the first time ever. Mac McClung, he's called. I saw that the other day.
He was a bit of a high school sort of sensation.
Bouncer, yeah.
Real bouncy dude, yeah.
So, yeah, that's interesting. Obviously, they don't really care about the big names.
They've gone to
in
the
dunk.
G League.
They're really Mac McClung.
There's another guy doing it.
He makes viral videos
He
of
does.
dunks and stuff. So he's pretty incredible. You're right. They've really just gone, oh, hey, who's good at dunking? Let's get him out
Actually, tweets just come out. Tom Abercrombie's doing it this year as well. Holy cow. So
now, Joel, we're going to head to the stat bunker.
This one was actually for Keezy, a massive Clippers fan. Who the Clippers a few years ago, they obviously let go of SGA. one of the best shooting guards at the moment in the league, one of the best point guards. He plays at OKC, and he's actually scored more points this year, 1,256, than Kawhi Leonard and Paul George combined, who only scored 1,100. So I thought I'd just leave that one with you.
But Kawhi's been injured, right? And
Okay, I 100% agree with that, by the way. SGA, but also SGA last season, very injured.
Yeah, he was.
He was very injury prone. And this is one thing I forgot to mention this when you were saying earlier, who needs help? You wouldn't think it'd be the Clippers, but holy cow, the Clippers need help because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, I feel like before every game they go, all right, whose knees should we use today? Actually, I might take the knees if you don't mind, Paul. You sit this one out. I'll play a couple of games, then I'll give them to you, then you come in. Actually, can I borrow your hamstring as well? It's just a constant deluge of those guys being out. Norman Powell's always out. John Wall, who I was excited for, has been absolutely terrible. His knees are broken. Like, the Clippers are just an absolute disaster.
But they seem like they've got such a big, they've got, every team wants wings except for the Clippers.
We've got too many wings.
Yeah.
How many wings do you need to fly? 2. We've got like 6. Yeah. We've got all these Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington type dudes. We weren't even playing Covington for a while. Meanwhile, LeBron's lobbing it out to the corner and friggin' Thomas Bryant's there. And, no one's shooting on the Lakers. We've got too many of the same guy. We need some point guards. Okay, rant
They're still
over.
coming 6th, though, which...
Oh, yeah, we'll win.
The season's not over.
We're going to win it.
Maybe not win it.
Win it all? Win it all, the Clippers?
Well, actually, how about this? Here's another stat for your stat, all right?
Yeah.
So, bloody put this in your little thing and smoke it there. Actually, can I get the horn again? Over the last week, Kawhi Leonard's been the number 1 fantasy player in the NBA.
Nice.
So there you go. There's a stat for you. He's done it on high efficiency, good scoring, 3-pointers, and also plenty of steals and blocks.
And he had that. Did he have the hamstrings and the knees from PG that week?
He borrowed them from him, Norman Powell, Nick Batum, Reggie Jackson. They all gave him their knees. And also a few other people have been injured. So that's helped.
Leads us well into fantasy, so let's get to that.
Hey there. What's your fantasy?
Sorry, fantasy basketball? Yeah, basketball.
Oh,
Forgot we made that one.
Yeah, that's right, the fantasy intro. Never ceases to amaze me. I love
running
it.
that one, are we?
Yeah, so obviously we all have our own individual fantasy teams that we play in our different leagues, but we have a combined Benchwarmers fantasy team. And to be honest, I haven't looked at it since the last time we did a podcast.
Can I just say, this segment winds me up every week, but please carry on.
No, you can.
This might make you a little bit happier. We're not winning anymore.
That does make me happy.
We were 7-0 going into the Christmas break.
We were cocky too. We were like, we don't even need to touch the team, make any subs or anything like that. Now what's happening?
We're 9-3 now, so we've lost. Yeah,
because no one's touched it.
3 of the last 5.
I didn't look at it.
No, but I guess we had a few injuries. We had Curry injured. But yeah, a team called the Sesh Keepers, who it might be one of your anonymous teams. I know you do love a Sesh yourself, Keezy, as well. But yeah, we're losing to them at the moment. We're tied top, sorry. We're tied at the top. But look, we'll have to start making a few changes and getting back to the top of that league because finals and playoffs are coming soon in fantasy. Can
I just say, I really want you guys to win that league. The reason I get wound up is just because I, as a commissioner of NBA fantasy leagues for the last, it feels like 10 years, I worked my way up. I started as a treasurer, just holding on to everyone's funds and then dishing it out at the end of the season there. I'm now a commissioner, and there is nothing harder to maintain in a league than everyone setting their team every week. And so, and actually this is and this might be a regular segment. I've realized there's a whole lot of things I do in NBA leagues, which it doesn't seem to be working because I don't seem to be winning anymore. But ideas for how to improve your league. For example, this week's tip is, how many people are in your league? 10?
I think 10, yeah 10 in there, yeah.
I mean, that's a really good number, right?
Yeah.
My perfect number is a 12-team league. You play 9-cat fantasy. I've decided next year, there's always 2 teams that fizzle out and stop setting their teams. You can either set a punishment if you come last, but no one really sticks to it by that time of the season, or you cut 2 teams and give everyone 2 extra players. So it's the same amount of players. There's not good guys on the wire, but it's 10 engaged, active GMs, and they've got more rosters. You give them an extra IR spot as well. You know what I mean? And that's how you fix your league.
Do you think also too, because the trades should happen more often?
Yeah, trades should definitely
happen. Because they don't really happen. Like, I think in the league that I've been playing, and maybe once over the last couple of years, has someone made, like, what? Someone made a trade? You know, like, I feel like at some stage everyone should make a compulsory trade. You have to make a
trade. One a month or something.
Just to mix things up.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. And a lot of, there's a few guys in our league who've got, scarred for life from trading. I remember 2 years ago, a friend of mine, Guy, I traded him Robert Covington when he was good, and also Victor Oladipo. who was a keeper, and then both of them instantly just blew their knees out, and he gave me Karl Anthony Towns.
I did the exact same thing.
And he refuses to trade with anyone now. He's like, I am never trading again.
I'm never trading again because I was kind of new to fantasy and Jokic's first really good year, and I traded him away for like Damian Lillard and Anthony Davis and another player, but I got two. I gave away 2 players, but I got 3. I'm like, how good? How good? I'm getting one more player than I gave away. And then, I realized I got massively finessed.
Okay,
that guy won the league.
This is what you have to do when you do a trade. If it's a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-2, you're getting 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
Smart because you're sort of splitting it, the talent amongst 3 guys, rather than having like a Luka Doncic and then he gets injured, that's your team screwed. The bad thing is you got to think, are these 3 guys better than these 2 guys and a guy I could grab off the wire?
Yeah.
That's how you have to weigh it up because you're giving up a spot on your team. And there's a possible guy that you maybe don't want to drop to make the trade happen. That's how you've got to think about it. And quite often the answer is no on that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I never thought it'd take some stuff out of this.
Once again, I'm coming 9th in my 12-person team.
So maybe I won't take your advice.
Yeah, I've got too many clippers.
How's your personal team going, Ben Boyce?
Mid-table, just below the 50%. I won the league surprisingly last year,
Wow.
the first time I played, but really that was luck. You got to have a whole lot of luck.
Healthy, man. Having a healthy team is so key.
Yeah.
Actually, at this point in the season, if anyone out there is holding on to injured guys, like if you've got 4 injured guys and you're thinking, okay, when these boys come back, it's going to be all on. The playoffs are in like just over a month and a half or something. You might not have time. You might have to just bail on a few of those guys.
Because how many slots do you have in your
13 and then 1 IR injury spot.
Right.
And Anthony Davis is in my injury spot. But I've got the likes of Brandon Ingram and like even Fred Van Vliet's been out recently. And I've got about 4 guys and I just had to cut a few of them loose because just racing down the standings there.
All right, let's head into the alley-oops before we wrap things up.
It's the big alley. Ooh, it's not the one, It's not the one.
A couple of funny clips that's been floating around over the break while we've been gone. We haven't actually got the clip of this, but I did find it amusing. Did you guys see where Zubac was caught in the middle of a dance circle? So he was out in the middle, and the dancers sort of surrounded him, and then he couldn't leave because it was like every white man's nightmare, really, being in a dance circle. I know it, I hate it, and for him it was just the same, but obviously in front of a packed stadium as well. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I love it because it's Zubac as well, who's just like a big 7-foot dude. To be like, oh no, oh god,
what do I do here?
It's like Jakob Poeltl being caught underneath Ja Morant. He's just like, oh god, I can't do anything about this, but I'm stuck here, and it's going viral.
We talked a bit about LeBron. Now he on New Year's was at home and he got called out by his wife.
This how you making me bring in the new year? This how you making me bring in the new year?
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I've been in Atlanta all weekend. I got my birthday celebration. I went to a basketball game. We celebrated my birthday with you. Mom's good. Ohio State crushing loss. So I got to get it done.
So he was playing. Should have said that at the start. He was playing Madden on the PS5 on New Year's Eve.
I love that.
To be fair, in his defense, I did see a lot of photos and videos of him hosing tequila, that tequila brand he has the night before, because it was his birthday party the night before.
Which was like, it was actually 38th, and that was coming into New Year's.
That was the day. I think he might have peaked early in terms of New Year's Eve.
And then he was off with a non-COVID illness on like the 3rd. I was like, oh god, what's this? So probably hungover. That was probably the thing.
100% hungover.
I think I saw a photo of him like 2 tequila bottles in his mouth.
Hell yeah, LeBron. I love it now. Like the social media is really annoying, but it also opens up a world of being able to see that LeBron James, who is like a god in my eyes, sometimes just plays PlayStation because he's hungover, while his missus is getting really angry at him. Like that makes it seem like he's a regular guy.
And he justifies it. He's like, hey, we did the birthday thing. My mum was there. It was such, it's like,
almost first all-time scoring, like one of the greatest ever. Also, the only issue I have with this is he did a massive marketing campaign with Ben Stiller where he was dressed as Kratos from God of War. You guys see that? Am I on the wrong podcast?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
He had a big beard. He painted his face white.
Bronny was on it as well.
Bronny was on it. And then he just goes ahead and chucks on Madden. Get into Ragnarok, mate. All right, rant over. All the nerds are like, yeah, Keezy, get him.
Luka as well. Now he dropped 60 points. One of the players that we were talking about earlier, and he wanted something very relatable, like LeBron. This is what he wanted.
Triple-double, 60 points, 20 boards. It never happened, baby. How's it feel right now?
I'm tired as hell.
You can rest later. You're young.
I need a recovery beer.
A recovery beer. which is good. And hey, who would blame him? Recovery beer or two.
Absolutely.
He seems like a great guy, Luka Doncic. I reckon he's just your standard 23-year-old who's just really, really good at basketball. But he was saying, like, they asked, do you want to catch up to LeBron's scoring record? And he's like, I'd rather move back to my home country and work on a farm.
Really?
That was his exact response when asked the other day.
The thing I love about Luka Doncic is not only is he a great guy who's really good at basketball, he just looks like a guy, like someone made a my character on NBA 2K and then bought a whole lot of virtual currency and just raised all the stats. So you're like, that guy shouldn't be as good as he is.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, he's
That's
amazing.
the same as Jokic as well. You look at him,
Exactly,
he's
Jokic.
not an athletic player at all. How's he doing this?
I know, he's always got a bright red nose. Jokic, like he's got a runny nose. He's like, hell, but he's like fade away, hitting game winners, dropping 60-point triple doubles and stuff. The only issue I have with that, it is very relatable, is I say that after a lot less work than a 60-point, 20-rebound triple double.
A recovery beer.
I'll be like, after this podcast, I'm going to need a recovery beer.
And speaking of Luka, Greg Popovich, famous last words. He was going in to play them, playing the Mavs, and he wanted to keep Luka under a certain score. This is what he said.
50 is going to be our goal. 50. We're holding Luka under 50.
He was like, we're slamming the desk. He's like, we're holding him under 50, which you think, okay, that's easily doable. I think Luka got 51.
That is brilliant. I'd be happy with that if I was him. Because the Mavs do have to get Luka to do amazing stuff in order to win. And also, how mad is it that he's saying we're going to hold him to under 50 and everyone didn't laugh in the room? Everyone was like, yeah, it's a good idea. Well, they were like, actually, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. So we got 51. That about wraps things up. Good to be back. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, very good. Oh, by the way, I won't be here for the next couple of weeks. Getting married.
Congrats, man. Can't wait for the wedding.
You get paid the same as if you are here.
Oh, really?
For that as well. Nothing. So that's,
sweet.
Yeah, so it's fine. If you're here, you're fine, you're not. But it's all the best for the wedding.
Thank you very much. We'll be watching plenty of basketball on the old honeymoon there. So, I'll be coming back with heaps of great stories. Basketball stories.
There's going to be a video on your missus' Instagram. It's like, Keezy, why are you playing Madden? It's our honeymoon.
You'll be like, hey, we went out. We had the 38th birthday.
Yeah, released the podcast.
I did it all. Have yourself a great week. It's great to be back. Make sure you like and subscribe. And we'll catch you soon on the Benchwarmers.